Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Dave, and if you got the cojones, you can call me Daveypoo, the Mobile Music Minstrel. Today we're going to talk about drum apps. Why do I have so many drum apps? How do I use them? I'm sure you want to know. Well, stay tuned, because here we go. Beathawk. Now, bear with me if I'm a little impatient. I've already done this video 3 times, and it's not recorded on me 3 times. So this is the 3rd time's out of charm. Is a charm, right? Okay. So Beathawk is great because it's an AUV3. That's my main use for it. I don't really use a lot of the other functionality of it, although it does a lot. You can control the pitch of the individual drums right from a keyboard, built into the app, per pad. So great. You know, it's got a full song editor. You can import your own sounds. You can use it as a non-drum instrument. There are all sorts of stuff for sale. A lot of people swear by the sounds. I haven't bought any of the in-app purchases. That's not what I use this for, but it's an awesome app, and I highly recommend it, especially because it's the only AUV3 drum machine I have, and that in and of itself is super, super useful. Okay, Funk Drummer. I love Louis Martinez's apps. I have 2 of them, Funk Drummer and Soft Drummer. They are expensive, and they're totally worth it. They sound like a real drummer. The improvisations on here are incredible. You know, it sounds like a real drummer. And if you want something to just jam out in the background while you're playing, I practice bass to this all the time, and I sit and play this for an hour. If I turn up the jam intensity here, it'll improvise a little more. So let's kick the tempo up a little bit. So see, if you just let it go, it sounds incredible. Okay. I think Soft Drummer is kind of like Funk Drummer Part 2. Soft Drummer is less jazzy than I would have thought based on the name. But you know me, guys. I love the funk. How do you not love this? Oof, so nice. And I really like the sampling in Soft Drummer. I think the sounds are just incredible. So I actually prefer Soft Drummer to Funk Drummer. I just like the tones of the drums better. I think the sampling is great in both. I prefer the kit sounds in Soft Drummer. But they're wonderful apps, and I highly recommend them. DM1 by FingerLab. So I picked this up for 99 cents because it was on sale one day, and I find this to be a very, very serviceable, straightforward, simple drum machine. You can import your own sounds. It's got a piano roll editor. I just think it sounds good. There you go. I am now a really terrible tabla player. I've got a little Keith McMillan keyboard here that I'm playing these sounds with. But I think the kits in here sound really good. This is one of the few apps that I've bought in-app purchases for sound packs. I rarely ever do that. These are all very sampleable if you don't, if you want to get the sounds out of DM1. But it's super straightforward. It's super simple. It doesn't do anything not advertised on the box. It's totally worth its cost for just being something straightforward. DM2 is a different beast entirely. Audionomy is actually the developer of DM1, who quit FingerLab and went and started his own company and created DM2. DM2 is a drum synth. So it is something to be able to program your own sounds. So I really like being able to get in deep with the sound here. See it really big on the screen. I also like the fact that it's loud. You know, there's so many quiet drum apps, or quiet apps in general. This one's almost a little too loud by default, but I'd almost rather that, because I find that I crank up some of the other apps and can't hear them. So DM2 is a great drum synthesizer. However, if I'm looking for a drum synth, I tend to go with an AUV3, which is the only reason I haven't been using DM2 lately, but I've been using Roosmaker and Roosmaker FM by Brambos. So, Roosmaker. I love this app. It's an analog drum machine. It sounds very much like 90% of the drum machines that came out of the 1970s. I'm sure with some patience you could probably dial in those sounds very easily. It's great. I love Roosmaker. It's fun. All of Brambos's apps are super CPU light. They're super fun. They're super easy to use. They're really straightforward. Roosmaker and Roosmaker and Roosmaker FM both are wildly different sounding. Since this is a frequency modulation based drum synthesizer and the other one's an analog based drum synthesizer. But they're laid out the same. They have the same features. Again, tonally, they're a little different. So, you know, use one or the other depending on your tastes. I prefer Roosmaker, but that doesn't mean that FM isn't awesome. It's just my sonic preference. Okay, Axon 2 is the last of the drum synths that I have, and this is its own beast. Axon 2 is amazing, and it's totally different than the others, mainly because of the sequencer built in here. This, you can get some incredible sounds out of this. For instance, this is one of my favorites. I mean, it just sounds so rich. And I love that it's generative, and I love that it's tonal. I could just listen to that go on all day. It's great. It's a little complicated to figure out how to use. Here's another tonal one that I think this is that. So I love doing those sorts of things, but I also, you know, I don't know. Like the basses are just monstrous in Axon. So it's cool, man. Axon's really cool. You can use it as a traditional like drum machine or drum synthesizer, but I encourage you to just open this up and start mucking with buttons. It's really incredible and wildly different than anything else. And it's an AUV3, so it's all those things. Funk Drummer was the first one that I ever bought. It was the first drum machine I ever bought. It's real straightforward. It's just a drum machine. It doesn't really do anything else. It doesn't have any fancy features. You know, it has all classic drum machines in here. Roland TR-808, Roland TR-909, Roland TR-606, Roland CR-78. All classic drum machines. TR-77 by CompuRhythm. Oh no, I don't know. Oh, Rhythm 77. Sorry. The EMU Drumulator. The sequential circuits Tom, the Oberheim DMX, the RX-11 by Yamaha. I mean, these are all super, super classic drum machines you've heard in a million songs. I mean, how many times have you heard the 808, you know? Okay, I mean, it's like the rapper's dream, right? Okay, there you go. There's my bad 2 seconds of hip-hop. From 80s style. Funkbox is great, and like I said, it's super, super simple and straightforward. Very much like DM1, except in Funkbox you don't program your own sounds. I bought it because I wanted all of those classic drum machines without having to import my own sounds. First iPad I had only had 16 gigs of space, so I didn't have space to store samples. I'm going to skip different drummer for just a second. Drum Perfect Pro and Drum Perfect. I bought the two of them in a bundle. It was like 99 cents more or $2 more for Drum Perfect and Drum Perfect Pro. I was only going to use Pro. I bought them both because I could spare the $2. I've never used Drum Perfect, but it's basically like Pro is the super duper version of it. This is the app you want if you really want to program drums. If you want to sit there and you want to really get into the nitty-gritty of programming a beat and having it sound as much like a physical drummer as possible, this is the app for you. I thought this was going to be my be-all and end-all app to replace iSpark, which at the time I was hoping was going to be my be-all end-all drum app, and neither of them were that. However, they still have a place in my library because nothing sounds like Drum Perfect. It sounds like a drummer. Let's see songs. We're just going to audition a couple of... Oh, that's not good. Let's try it. It's a little too... So this, won't be a tutorial of Drum Perfect. You can look up tutorials of it online, but the learning curve is great. It's super, super detailed and super, super in-depth, and sometimes I need that, but not all the time. So I don't always go to Drum Perfect, but it's there in case I need that. iSpark. Now, I replaced Funkbox with iSpark because I was hoping to find like an IMPC sort of all-purpose drum everything. It's going to do everything I want. It's going to import sounds. It's going to be a MIDI controller. It's going to do everything. And unfortunately, iSpark has too many bugs to make it be that. Mainly because it likes to become a ghost app. It likes to, say you open it up in Auria and you use it with inter-app audio. If you try to save the song without it, it'll stay attached to the song. It'll stay in the background as a ghost app, so you can hear it making sounds, but it won't be showing up anywhere. You have to soft reboot your iPad to get rid of it. It's really frustrating from a technical standpoint, but it does so many things so incredibly well that I end up using this with my Keith McMillan Bop Pad. It's a drum pad that I can use with drumsticks, and because Spark, you can actually layer up to 6 samples on any given drum pad. So for multi-sampled kits, I think this works great because you can get all the different velocities of the of the different hits of the snare. You can also like layer 6 and just have them all sound at the same time. You can have them configured a number of different ways. So it's really versatile and it's really powerful. It's got a full mixer. It's got a full editing suite. It's just that the limitations, I find it's buggy, and that's its main downside. But it's the best app I've found to work with the Bop Pad, so I still have a use for it and use it often. Oval Synth, real quickly, this is a free app, and you should totally go get it right now. It sounds amazing. It's a controller app or accompanied by an actual physical instrument like this. I forget what the instrument's called, but it's like a steel drum that's domed, and each of these are tongues that you can hit to make different sounds. But the sounds in here are incredible. They sound amazing. There's a ton of them. Some of them are pitched. Some of them are like, if you hit on different parts of the pad. Oh, here we go. So it's really interesting. Again, not meant to be a tutorial, but this is a freebie, and you should totally go get it and play with it, and it's awesome. And I've used it on songs. It's great. Oval Synth. Good stuff. Okay, I'm going to circle back now to Different Drummer. Different Drummer is the one that is not the same as anything else. if I want to be inspired and I want to do generative music, meaning if I want an app to start creating ideas, I go to different drummer. John from Berkeley from the Audiobus Forum, he and I went to the Retronyms Happy Hour in San Francisco, and he suggested that I look into different drummer for ideas, and he was totally right. This is a big learning curve. It's really, really in-depth, and it's hard to get your head around. But once you kind of figure out what the mindset of the developer is, this thing is amazing. The basic concept is that each individual drum and each different parameter of the sound is represented by a wave. So the red here is, let's pick a quick kit. Oh, we'll do a quick, we're just going to do a kick drum sound for this. Normal kick. Okay. So we've got a normal kick sound for here. So the pitch of that kick is going to be represented by this wave. Okay. Whenever the wave goes above the center line, it sounds a pitch. And let me back up. The bass line, the center white line is your bass point, starting point. When not bass as in like bass line, blah, boom, 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 not that kind of bass. Bass as in B-A-S-E. It's your bass line, B-A-S-E-L-I-N-E. It's your starting point, and your pitches go up or down from that center point. You can have waves that represent here. This is the pitch. Here, this is rests. Okay, when the wave is above the line, the notes sound. When the wave is below the line, they don't. You can have it for tying notes together. You can add all sorts of different types of wave shapes so that you can get these really complicated, complex waves. You can shape how many waves happen in a given period, and then, one for dynamics. And this is just the kick drum. And you can get the most ridiculous See, you can have it play something fairly straightforward, but where's the fun in that? I mean, this thing just goes from 0 to insanity so quickly. So it's great for generating ideas. It can be a controller. It's got synth sounds in there. It's amazing. So there you go, guys. There's my overview of the drum apps that I use. Do I use all of them regularly? No. Do I regret purchasing some of them? Yes and no. I'm of the belief that if I purchase something, I will find a use for it, even if it doesn't give me the thing that I purchased it for. So I try to hang on to as many of the apps that I have as possible. But I also believe that in order to make music effectively on the iPad, as an engineer, I wanted to have one single DAW that did it all, and I could host everything in that. And the iPad doesn't work that way for me. For me, I have to think of the entire iPad as the DAW, as the platform. And then all the apps are the different functions of the greater recording system, which is the iPad. And that's how I view it. And it helps my head get in the right place to be able to use all these apps together. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys. I really, if you like the channel, please, hit the like button, subscribe, tell all your friends, go spray paint some local billboards saying Daveypoo is the man. Go walk into your local police office and, give yourself up because you just went and painted a whole bunch of billboards. And what the hell are you doing, man? Don't tell them Daveypoo sent you. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the channel. Please tell everybody that you like it. Please share the video. Please like, please subscribe, comment. Let me know what sorts of things you want me to do videos on. And I'll see you guys later.